officially welcome you to this wonderful space today and to tell you how exciting it is for us to be actually celebrating the Hats On for Awareness Lounge and just exactly how important that is for this institution. I joined CAMH not quite 4 years ago, and when I joined CAMH there wasn't a single named building at all for CAMH. And as you all know, most hospitals have named buildings, floors, walls, elevator suites, and CAMH had none of that. And it's important to recognize that Hats On for Awareness was founded at a time when people were not doing this for people with mental illness and addiction. And so you have been at the forefront with the heavy lifting of providing the kind of very, very special support for people. I think you know that CAMH is really working on reinventing care for those with mental illness, and we're modernizing our facilities and we're integrating the very best in research and clinical care. And we couldn't do this without you. And I know you expect me to say that, so let me just explain. The ministry, first of all, demands that you have philanthropic support when you are creating new buildings. So you cannot, we could not have even dreamt of this if we couldn't also dream about philanthropic supporters. And so that's actually requirement of the ministry. So that's number one. But number two, and this is more important, and Christine will probably touch on this, the mental health care involves the best in the community. It involves being a community, and that's what's so very special and important about the Hats On for Awareness initiative. It is a community initiative. It's a community of people who care, and I can tell you that has the most profound impact for our clients. To know that there are people out there who care. It was just 2 weeks ago when we were launching our Gifts of Light program, when one of the clients was trying to explain to people about the importance of Gifts of Light, and she said to everybody, you know, my situation is that my family disowned me when my mental illness was diagnosed. And can you imagine that situation? How amazing then to have this kind of a family who recognizes the importance of mental illness and who is willing to, you know, work tirelessly to raise funds to create opportunities for people with mental illness. It's just astonishing. So over the past few years, Hats On has been raising awareness about mental illness and not just funds. So I want you to know how important that is. I was talking to one of our emergency room docs yesterday who also does research, and he said to me that the growing awareness of mental illness has driven a huge increase in the emergency department. And he said that's incredibly important, because if people aren't coming for help, how can we help them? If they feel that they can't say, I have an illness and I need some help, how do we intervene? We've got fantastic staff. We've got amazing knowledge that's generated here, but it's all useless if people don't feel comfortable telling us they need some help. So when you go home tonight and you talk to your families, I really hope that you will share the incredible importance of the
you have some company.
incredible importance of the work you're doing, you see? So of course the funds that you're raising have helped us build this incredible facility, and it's especially meaningful, of course, that we're recognizing that support here in the Hats On for Awareness Volunteer Lounge. So we're here to officially name and celebrate this space for the volunteers, by the volunteers, and that's really, really special. So the seed that was planted and nourished by Hats On co-founders, Enza and Benny, I know you're here, there you are, what powerful volunteer forces you are, and how compelling and committed you've been, and how great that you've got a group of very, very passionate people with a great deal of panache to help you. So I know that I can't match the panache, but I am now going to and just on behalf of this whole organization, tell you how incredible it is, the work that you're doing, how grateful we are that you started this kind of an initiative long before people thought about supporting CAMH. And I think most importantly that you know in the depth of your heart how important it is to help people with mental illness and to be there for them and to change the world because of the work you're doing. So I am privileged now to turn the podium over to my friend Christine.
Anyways, thank you so much, Daryl. I want to start off by sharing a story with you. And the story is about a volunteer named Judy. It's Judy's first day of volunteering at CAMH, and she's feeling really nervous and trepidatious as she enters the inpatient unit where she'll be running a creative writing group. You see, 8 years ago, Judy was a client here at CAMH, receiving services in that very same program. Judy now wants to give back and share her experiences with those on the unit and is hoping to make a difference in someone's life. At the end of her shift, she's had a couple of clients participate in her group, but she's still not sure how it went. Feeling okay, but still concerned, she enters the volunteer lounge to pick up her coat. Sitting in a chair is Nick, who's been volunteering for 1.5 years. He and Judy strike up a conversation where Nick asks Judy how her first day had gone. Judy reluctantly shares a bit about her story and experience with Nick, who quickly empathizes with her and recounts his own beginnings at CAMH. That chance meeting in the volunteer lounge helped Judy get through the day and gave her the confidence to come back again and continue volunteering at CAMH. The volunteer lounge now represents a place for volunteers to come. They come together, they share their experiences, make friends, build a community where in recent past we had no such place. On any given day, the camaraderie is audible as pearls of laughter waft down the hallways here. On the big day of our client fashion show, volunteers, clients, and staff crowned this lounge with makeup artists and teams of fashionistas preparing rolling racks of runway clothing. Corporate volunteer groups join clients in pizza luncheons after a strenuous day of tulip planting across our flower beds at CAMH. On weeknights, runners from the community, clients and families come together to stretch their muscles in this lounge before embarking on their 5K journey. These are just some of the groups who come together as one in this incredible space. This isn't just a room. It embodies the spirit of those who are courageous, take chances, and are wanting to make a difference for others. You, Enza, and Benny, are one of those spirits. You are a light and gift to others. Someone who selflessly commits time and passion in helping those around you. After a family tragedy left Enza wondering how to help others recognize and understand mental illness, she channeled that energy by teaming up with her good friend Benny, whose family has been a part of CAMH for many years, outfitting us with blinds and curtains throughout the buildings. And together, in 2009, created the Hats On for Awareness to ensure that other family members in our community had a better understanding of the needs of those living with mental illness and addictions. Together, Enza, Benny, and the numerous volunteers with Hats On have pledged $250,000 towards the Volunteer Lounge, which we so proudly bear that name. We are blessed and honored by your vision and your energy in creating and dedicating this space to those who, like you, are making mental illness and addictions front and center in our society, and are building communities where together we all are stronger. And now the volunteers have a place where they can hang their hats. So thank you.
I was thinking earlier when you were talking about taking a tragedy and what we chose to do with that tragedy. It's actually very fitting that from the first time I spoke about my tragedy and wanting to do something about it, that somebody immediately came out. And I think that was the blueprint for Hats On from day one. Every time we speak, Every time anybody who volunteers with Hats On or comes to an event speaks, it evokes just people talking about it. We were on a business trip a couple months ago, and before we knew it, there was 50 of us at a restaurant. Everybody was talking about Hats On, about mental illness, and Benny and I just kind of really couldn't believe that, you know, just by starting small and talking, that could happen. So we're very happy and proud of that. But none of this could have been possible without the many, many volunteers, friends, supporters that we're dumbfounded every year by their support and unwavering support. They come back again and again and put their trust in us that we will, you know, persevere, be it our board, who work very, very hard, be it all of our volunteers, be it our families, every single one of the families of the board members and the volunteers that allows people in their family to spend the amount of time that we do with Hats On. One final thing that I was thinking about, and I think I said it at our second Hats On, or maybe our first, and I started by saying and I was thinking about my father, and I said, it's about what they leave behind. And when I look around today, I see that what he taught us and what has transpired over the last 4 or 5 years is to always look for the best in everything and take a tragedy and look at what can be learned and allow others to talk more freely so that there'll be less and less. And one of the big reasons why we take a lot of care and pride in this too is not just the past, the story of my dad, not just the past, starting up Hats On, but the story of the future. And Andy and I are clear that we see that future, that if anyone in our families or friends or anybody we love is afflicted by any of these horrible illnesses, that it will be a different place for treatment, a different place for understanding. And we're happy to be a part of that with everybody, and thank you for your loyalty and your trust in us to keep doing what we do.
Wow, how do I top that? Obviously, we didn't really come here, we spoke before we came here in terms of, you know, do we want to prepare something to say, what have you, and I just said, no, you know what, let's just kind of go with it and speak from our hearts, because that seems to be what this is all about. It's real. Everybody that's involved with Hats On, whether there's a heartstring or not, it's just very real. And when that's the case, to prepare a speech and with what we need to say, I didn't think it was relevant. But I do want to say, everybody with CAMH has been incredible with us. We could not have even done this without their support, because really when Enza did ask me way back when, I mean, we didn't picture this. It was more like, you know, let's hold an event in honor of your father, and I didn't know what I was in for. There was no plans, it was just an idea. And then all the friends that came together has been amazing. From the first time I came down at CAMH, I was 12 years old, working with my father, and I was telling Jim earlier, I mean, I walked through CAMH back when it was 999 Queen, and I was petrified, because I didn't understand it. And as I kept coming back, you know, the one thing that hit me the one time, I was in a patient, is what they were called back then, his room, and he was kind of comatose. I hadn't seen him in a daze. And I thought, okay, I was scared, but then I looked on the wall and he had all these family pictures. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, okay, these are normal pictures. So how does this happen? So that really started to enlighten the whole situation, understanding what CAMH was all about. And it's amazing how far it's come in terms of whole redevelopment phase and what have you. It's just phenomenal. And we're just one group raising awareness, but we do want to, we're definitely going to keep growing and growing our partnership with CAMH, and kind of defining exactly how we can keep helping one another and keeping awareness going. And I do have to say one thing. I know we've said it, you thank the board, but you know what? our board, what you guys don't see behind the scenes is amazing. Like, we get together quite a bit. The work involved is endless, but, you know, I know Enz and I get a lot of accolades, but really, we're just two people. We cannot do this together. We may be the representatives, but Hats On for Awareness is not just us. It's our board, it's all the volunteers here, CAMH. It's bigger than two people. It's definitely not about us, and it's one thing I do want to stress. And thank you to the board, because without you guys, we really couldn't do what we're doing. So let's say thank you to you guys. One other thing, I think we have to say thank you to our spouses who have to put up a lot of our time involved. My beautiful wife,
The top
Patty, and
volunteers, number one volunteers.
Yeah, without we definitely need their support, because
For all the nights we're not there, Betty and I are out together, and you guys are at home alone.
other than that, I think that covers it, so thank you.